Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beaver Mosh, and today I'm talking to you about Punished by Nemesis from the Brooklyn-based Stress Angel. This is kind of a co-release from Dying Victims Productions and Stygian Black Hand. And on this second full-length album of theirs, Stress Angel just dives into this nasty, old-school death thrash that is as aggressive and rude as you could possibly want. It's very stripped down, no bells and whistles, just pure madness and evil, sometimes exactly what I want from a death thrash record. The vocals are just rancid, the guitars are heavy as hell, and this thing has riffs on riffs on riffs. With the opening title track, it starts off with these bitchin', spiraling riffs and these horrifying death howls that are thrash at its dirtiest. The main guitar line here is heavy, it's brutal, but it's also pretty catchy. You can hum along to it. That's good writing. The sound here leads into this certain nastiness. It's ugly, it's corroded, it's primal for those who like that in their thrash. Here it goes. On Monsignor's Wish, focus in on the drumming, just the absolute abuse that this snare goes through. It's beautifully disgusting. I find the vocals take some cues from black metal with that dry screech that's very scary, and it just adds a ton of grim into the recipe. I'm really intrigued by the mixing decisions on Ritual Debt. On one hand, it feels very in your face, but in the other sense, the vocals are brought back just a bit to where it adds this spaciousness with a little bit of reverb to where it feels strategically hollowed out. I quite like it. It adds a level of creepiness. Close to the Presence of Suffering features these snaking, doomy, muddy riffs that do eventually peel off into these ultra-aggressive, cutting thrash riffs. Please put on a good pair of headphones and experience how, with these cymbals, these crashes being played at the same pace as these downstroke riffs, just see how glorious and heavy and just pure metal that feels. Ancient Weakness leans much more into that rancid, chromatic death metal sound. This band really does fuse death and thrash very well. There are a lot of bands that call themselves death thrash, but this is death thrash, or deathened thrash. I don't know. I like this. Also, some of these like more swung passages with this snarled irreverence really feels like maybe an early Hellhammer or Venom recording. Like I said, there is some black metal in here, but it's that black metal. It's the first wave coming through. Jericho's trumpet comes through with this windy strut. It feels dark and evil, but also just feels like no nonsense old school heavy metal at its finest, and I love that. Ridicules of Death, however, just shows the band putting as much blunt force into the recording as possible. You can constantly feel this physical crash. It just seems like it's hitting you in the chest constantly. I just like how it sounds intentionally sloppy and unpolished, but it's actually deceptively very well played. I really appreciate that effect. Missionary of Zeal featured more of these slow burning arpeggios, some tritone action, feels very moody before eventually bursting into these blackened thrash runs. It's something the band's really good at. They do it more than once, do something similar more than once on this record. There are not a ton of solos on this record, but this track has some really interesting screeching bends and cool melodic detours for some nice color and flavor. As I've already mentioned, the riffs, they're so sticky and memorable. Each track brings something new that's interesting. It's a very straightforward record, but one that never feels repetitive. Ministerial Road is this great closing track. It just feels rock and roll. Ministerial Road is this great closing track. It just feels rock and roll. It has this attitude and it just has this cool factor. There is this bounce to the vocals. It's simple, it's to the point, and it clicks. Heavy, brutal, and so damn fun. That's not an easy thing to pull off. Yeah, this record is all killer, no filler, just pure aggression for 40 minutes and makes every second count. If you like the more nasty, unrepentant side of thrash with a healthy dose of death influence, is going to scratch an itch for sure. Definitely did for me. Get on this. The thing is mean. It has great riffs, amazing vocal performances, super awesome mixing work, high praise from me. And hey, those are my thoughts. If you like what I do, hit the like button. It'd mean the world to me if you'd consider subscribing. I have a Twitter you can follow, link to that in the bio of this YouTube channel. Leave a comment. I love getting to engage with those. Thank you to my patrons. Yes, I have a Patreon now. It's a way to support the show. No pressure to give. I just appreciate you watching. But if that is a way you want to support, keep it more sustainable, it'd be so appreciated. Hey, you right there. Keep it metal. My name is Maddie, a.k.a. Beavermosh, and I'm signing off.